Good morning. I hope you're having a great beginning to your week. So we're all fascinated with books and reading. And I saw an interesting study this week that in the past year, there was a 1% growth in purchase of books from the year before. A 1% increase. But there was a 22% increase in the purchase of Bibles, of Torahs. And the question is why? You know, the word Torah means horah. It's a lesson. All the stories in the Torah are meant to really inspire us to lead a better life, to be inspired by the matriarchs, by the patriarchs, and by their stories, to live a life of purpose, of meaning, of higher calling, not to answer to our lowest denominator, but to the highest common denominator and the thing that unites us. And one such story is in this week's Torah portion. You know, in this week's Torah portion, we're introduced to the greatest leader that ever lived, Moses, the leader who takes the Jewish people out of Egypt, the leader who confronts Pharaoh, the leader who listens to the pain and the cries of the Jewish people, the leader who cried out the words, "Let my people go," which is a word we use till today, calling upon the freedom that God wants each human being to have to worship God in their own way. But one story we read about and someone else we're introduced to in the story of Moses is Batya. Now, Batya is the daughter of Pharaoh. And she's going to the Nile to bathe. And she sees a little basket. And she sees the basket and she figures it must be a Jew trying to hide their child because Pharaoh said he should drown all the boys. So someone's trying to hide their child. She tries to reach the basket, but she can't. And the Torah says about Tishlach Masa, she sent her maiden. But the commentaries tell us something interesting. That what happened was that Batya tried to reach the basket and she couldn't. So she stretched out her hand even though it was far away. And God made a miracle. That her hand extended like an amma. An amma is a measurement, which is a few feet. And that because Batya tried, God did the rest and made a miracle where her hand was able to reach the basket. She was able to take the basket, find the baby Moses, save him, take him to the palace, and nurture him until he became adult, which led ultimately to Moses being able to see the burning bush and being introduced to God and sent on the mission to take the Jews out of Egypt. But think about the message, the profound message the rabbis tell us. And the Rebbe speaks of this at length. You see, the story of Batya teaches us the most important thing. That sometimes we think that something is beyond our reach. Something is beyond our possibility. How am I ever able to do this? But yet, we go and we try anyways. And when we try anyways, God makes a miracle and extends our reach to be able to do it. If you would think, forget it, there's no hope, I'm giving up, you wouldn't be able to do it. But the moment Batya teaches us that she extended beyond her reach and she tried to do that which is impossible, she was able to do it. These are the inspiring stories that the Torah teaches us. And in the times that are challenging like these, people are looking for inspiration to live a life of purpose and ideal. And that's why they're purchasing Bibles, Torahs, at a high rate. You know, one of the most painful things to watch in the devastation in Los Angeles is to see people's entire lives get burned down in front of them. The Talmud tells us, without a home, you're not a person. Yet, here you watch people that in moments, everything in their entire life comes crumbling down. And some people weren't even lucky enough to go to their house and take any last things because they were at work when they found out about the fires. But some people did have that opportunity. And think about the moment you realize that your entire, everything sentimental and important to you over years is this going to be destroyed. And you have to choose, what am I going to take? What's really valuable to me? And a colleague of mine, Rabbi Lightstone, wrote that his mother had to make that decision. And she had a moment to decide, what am I taking from the fire? And she ran in to the home, and she took the candelabra, the Shabbos candles that her mother had given her from her grandmother. Because ultimately, it's in that moment of truth, in that moment of pain, that we realize that which is dearest to us and that which is most valuable. It's not the physical possessions. It's not the monetary possessions. Of course, it's painful when you have a $10 or $20 million home that gets burnt down. But it's those sentimental and personal and purposeful items that connect you to your heritage, to your past, to who you are, to what it means to be a person. And when I saw that, it made me think that we don't have to, heaven forbid, wait for something tragic to happen. But even when we have everything in front of us, we have to cherish that which is the most valuable to us. It's the Torah. It's the bestseller in history. It's our relationship to our family. It's our children. It's our parents. It's our spouses. It's the pictures of the people we remember. It's the heirlooms that have been handed down to us from generation to generation, that passed a tradition of Torah and Judaism. Let us learn from Batya, Pharaoh's daughter. Let us always stretch out our hand, even when things seem impossible, because ultimately, when you stretch out your hand, God will make it extend and allow you to accomplish the impossible. Have a great day.